NoSQL, it is called not only SQL sometime. Okay. Some people used to call it not new SQL databases, or sometimes people used to call it as a big data databases. So various names people are giving. So NoSQL can be called as a not only SQL, or people used to call it new SQL, or sometimes people used to call non-relational database, or sometimes people used to call big data databases. So keep in mind, guys, all terms are similar. It was introduced by Carl Stoji in 1998 to name his file-based database. Who was the person behind this NoSQL concept? Carl Stoji in 1998, and he gave name as a file-based database. NoSQL represents a group of products and various related data concepts for storage and management of large data set. All right, and this was the name of hashtag NoSQL for a meetup to discuss open source distributed database. Non-relational model. In NoSQL databases, you will not see joins. Okay, and that's the reason it is called non-relational databases. The way we will have in RDBMS system, where you will have primary key, foreign key, and so on, here you will not see those kind of relationship. Second thing is runs on a cluster. Second point is runs well on cluster. All right. What do you mean by runs well on cluster? So almost all NoSQL databases work as a cluster, not individual servers. All right. Mostly databases, NoSQL databases are open source. Then this is built for new generation web application. What do you mean by new generation web application? So if we talk about new generation web applications, first thing, those kind of web applications are firing millions of queries per second. Those kind of applications wanted to push and store data. That data could be of any type. It could be semi-structured, it could be unstructured, and so on. Okay, and those applications are also called big data applications nowadays. Is schemaless. What do you mean by schemaless? So let's take example of one database here. Here is your database. And inside this, you have let's say one table you have. Okay. So here is your table. Now here, let's say name is there, then here email is there, then here phone is there. Now, in this database, now let's say here is your application, loan application, or any other application. Now this guy is interacting with the database. This suddenly, let's say application developer wanted to add one field here. All right. So in loan application, name, email ID, and phone is there. A developer wanted to add city here. Okay. Let's say developer wanted to add here city field. What will be the problem with this? First of all, developer has to request database professional to add field inside the table, right? Inside this table. Then only application would be able to push those kind of data inside this table, right, guys? But in NoSQL database, or especially MongoDB, you don't need to say here. Automatically it will understand. As soon as you will insert field here, it will automatically embed and it will understand. So What I'm trying to say here is NoSQL databases are schemaless. It does not enforce structure. Here you can have different structure, here you can have different structure, and so on. So the idea is to fulfill different use case and provide agile development. So if you will update, if you want to add here, just add here, doesn't matter. Automatically it will take care over here. So the idea was I was trying to explain here what is schemaless. Why NoSQL? We understood that what is NoSQL at very high level. Okay. Now, why NoSQL? Why this NoSQL database came into the picture? So let me explain about this scenario, how it was happening earlier. So here is your database. This is called RDBMS, right? Or OLTP system or real-time system. Real-time system. Now, here you will have various applications. For example, let's say this is loan app, or let's say this is ATM application, or let's say this is banking app, or something else. It could be anything. Now, what will happen? You will send your all transaction over here. Whatever transaction is there through application, it will goes to your RDBMS system, right? So basically, this is called your RDBMS system. Now, what is OLTP? Online Transactional Processing System, which is called sometime RDBMS or real-time system. What happens with this? Whenever you will perform any activity through application, right away it gets updated. Right, guys? Is it clear what is OLTP and what all databases you can see? For example, Oracle has provided, MySQL is there, MS SQL is there, DB2 is there, Sybase is there, right? Lots of databases are there. So what happens is whenever you will perform any transaction from this application side, right away it will be updated here, right? And that's what is called real-time system. Okay. Now think about the situation. Let's say if we wanted to perform here, let's say if we wanted to perform reporting or analytics, let's say this is a reporting activity, and tool we wanted to use here Jasper or Pentaho, or let's say Tableau, right? Let's say we wanted to use any tool here. Now, at the same time, we wanted to perform this activity, okay? Now, what will be the problem? The problem is, now here is the reporting, and let's say if I wanted to perform, let's say if we wanted to perform here analytical activities also, analytics with the help of some tool, let's say SAS is there, or R is there, or SPSS, or some other tool is there. What problem will occur? The problem will be if we are trying to perform reporting or analytics on the same database where already applications are interacting on continuous basis, right? So what will happen with these tools? What will happen with these tools? With reporting or analytical, this consumes huge data, okay? Now, the problem will happen with applications. This will become slow down. This will become slow because It's real-time system, and already these applications are interacting. So what we do for reporting and analytics? So here will be the scene. What we do is we will have different kind of database which is called data warehousing system. Okay, so here you can have one database. Now this is called OLAP. This is called OLAP, or it is called DSS, or it is called DW. What is that, guys? And lots of vendors are there, Oracle, MySQL. You can use it as a data warehouse. MS SQL also provides same software, but internal algorithm could be different. All right. Now, apart from that, you can, the popular one, you can see Exadata is there, right? Or Natija is there. Or some more data warehouse systems are there. MPP systems are there, right? Massive parallel processing systems. So just I'm giving you a few of them. Now, here you can use Oracle Exadata. So this is called OLAP. What do you mean by OLAP, guys? Online Analytical Processing System. What is DSS? Decision Support System or Data Warehouse System. So all these terms are similar. Now, what we do here, we migrate data from OLTP systems to data warehouse system. Just a sec, guys. So here we migrate our data. Now, you may have multiple RDBMS system also. There could be scenario where you have multiple data warehouse, OLTP system. Okay. Just give me a moment. Here you have this one. Here you can have multiple OLTP system. So for example, let's say this is on SQL Server, this is on Oracle, this is on MySQL, and so on. So now here it will be single directional. It will be not bidirectional. But there could be some use cases where you can keep it as a bidirectional also. Now, if you will try to perform reporting or analytics, there won't be any issue at all, because basically you have changed the underlying software, okay, and then you have migrated your load from OLTP systems to OLAP systems. Okay, OLAP system is called Data Warehousing System, or DSS, which is called Decision Support System, or this is called Data Warehousing System. Okay, so, and how do we migrate data from OLTP systems to OLAP? So this is called ETL tools. Let me write it here so that it will be available for anyone, everyone. Jasper, then Pentaho, then Informatica, then here, Informatica, then Avenue. Sure, some spelling name you have to check, guys. then data space, etc. All right. So here you have 5 ETL tools. Okay. Now, this was good. This data warehousing system was good if we talk about structured data. If we talk about less querying systems, but if we are talking about big data or today's world, this guy is not able to fulfill today's requirement. Okay, so now the problem was with, again, the problem arose when we started talking about, or when we started seeing big data. Okay, when we started seeing today's world. What do you mean by today's world? What do you mean by big data? Okay, so let's understand in detail what do we talk and why do we say it's a today's world or big data. Okay, so we are going to talk about this thing here. What is that, guys? Big data or today's world. Okay, or you can say today's applications, right? Today's applications, or you can say requirement, right? So if you could see here, first thing, if we are looking about today's world, first thing we are looking for big data applications. What do we mean by big data here? So if we are saying big data, so basically if we have 3 things, then we call it as a big data. What is that, guys? What is that? 3 things. So if you have, let's say, 3 things, let me quickly write it here. Volume, all right, variety, and then velocity. If 3 things is there, we call it as a big data. So what happens is, let's say if you have huge volume, which is sitting idle or sitting on your desk, for example, let's say 100 terabyte, or if we are talking about petabytes, all right? So we are saying that is having high volume of data. Now, if we are saying variety, okay, so let me make a note of this. High volume in the sense we are talking about petabytes or gigabytes, all right? Variety, if you are saying variety, we are talking about various kind of data, for example, structure, then semi-structure, all right, then unstructured as well. So semi-structure could be your log files, all right, or you can, unstructured file like you can have image, you can have video, and so on. And a structure, obviously, we are having. And then if we talk about velocity, rate of data generation is very high. So millions of queries per second, right? Which is very huge. Okay. So millions of queries per second. All right. And here, structure, semi-structure, or polymorphic data. Okay. What do you mean by polymorphic data? If you have data about data, and so on, and it's growing rapidly, so those kind of data is called polymorphic data. Okay. So now if you have huge volume, if you have unstructured, semi-structured, or structured or polymorphic data, and rate of data generation is very high, that is called big data. That's what is called big data. even few more things people has added like veracity, value, and so on. So this is the core things. If you have this three parameters along with your data, it is called big data. All right. And if you will try to handle this big data with traditional systems like OLTP system or OLAP system, it's not feasible. All right. And even though if you will handle, you have to incur huge cost. You have to pay a huge amount for your server as well as your database applications and so on. And then it's quite difficult. All right. Now, so as I told you, previously it was fine. We were having just structured data and we were having reporting and analytical activities. Nowadays, we are looking for big data, okay, and then we are also looking for one more thing, which is called today's new architectures. All right, what do you mean by new architecture here? So new architecture means people are looking for distributed computing, okay, and distributed computing, and then they wanted to use commodity hardware. Why they wanted to do this? Because this will be cheaper. This will be cheaper and this will be better also, okay. So because clustering is very, very powerful, I will show you why it is powerful and how do you get more benefit out of cluster than having a single machine. Once I will explain horizontal scalability and vertical scalability, but at this point of time, if you have big data, if you are talking about new architectures, if you are talking about today's application, then you need to have NoSQL database. All right. So till here it was fine, but today's world requirement is different, and that's the reason we are looking for different kind of database which can handle today's request, which can run on today's today's environment, who can cater today's request, who can cater big data's applications. Okay. Now then, what is that, guys? That is nothing but NoSQL database. Okay. So here is your NoSQL database. All right. Now, whenever you will talk about NoSQL database, it will be not a single machine, okay? It will be a cluster. It will be cluster set of machines, okay? Let me show you here. So it will be set of machine. Now we will talk about this, how this cluster looks like, how do we set up a cluster, how this will be beneficial, and so on. Okay. All right. Now, what's happening nowadays? Instead of whatever data we have as of now in data warehousing architecture, we are migrating those data on NoSQL databases. Not in all cases, but yes, in some cases, we are doing that. So what will be the architecture now? Whatever data is residing in OLAP, you can migrate that in. Again, guys, this will be bidirectional. It depends on use case to use case, because and here will be your cluster. Okay. Now, also, whatever data is residing from your OLTP system, rather than moving it here to OLAP system, which is which is not able to cater today's request. So what people are doing, let me show you that. People are migrating here. So now ETL is happening here. Okay, and whatever data is here is getting migrated, and then you can directly push your analytical activities or reporting activity on NoSQL databases. Okay, so but there will be some use cases where you wanted to have, because this OLAP will have lots of functionality. So in those situations, you can keep this as well, but the same functionality with much better things you can achieve through NoSQL database, and you can perform your analytical or reporting on top of this. And this guy is very powerful. You can use it for big data or today's world, and easily you can manage your all requirements, whatever is required related with reporting or analytical activities. Is it clear what is NoSQL database? It's a third category of database, or you can say new generation database. All right, and why it was required to cater the today's requirements, today's world requirement, and to handle the big data. So now we are clear what is NoSQL database, what is OLTP, then what is OLAP, and then what is NoSQL database. And why NoSQL database? So we understood that because we were not able to process huge amount of data, different variety of data. If a speed is very high, it was quite difficult to process through traditional system or RDBMS system, and that's the reason we need to have NoSQL database. And we wanted to save cost, we wanted to use distributed computing, we wanted to have horizontal scaling. That's the reason we wanted to go for NoSQL database. All right.